Good morning. My name is Chris Callen. I'm CEO and founder of Grit Virtual. It's exciting to come to you today with video 2 of 4, talking about the new positioning of Grit in your scheduling workflows. Today we're going to talk mostly about procurement and a little bit of how it pertains to production tracking, and all surrounded a connected cloud-based CPM. So I won't be able to talk a lot about the production tracking because that is something we are still working on, but we do want to talk about the enhancements we've made to procurement. So this was formerly called the Make Ready portal, but we have now renamed it Procurement, and this is the tracking of labor, material, equipment, and information that is needed in order for an installation activity on site to work. So I'll jump in real quickly with the actual application, navigate to my master schedule. Most every schedule that I've interacted with has this section in the top quarter of their schedule. They have a work breakdown structure that breaks down submittals into 2 or 3 sections: preparation, review, and then a fabrication and deliver time frame. So you can see a myriad of these, but almost every schedule we have shows that. And they have the dependencies, so the preparation of the material then comes down to approval. You can see that with our color coding, just that everyone is really correspond to one in the next WBS. And then after it's fabricated and delivered, it's connected to the activities that are actually used to install that, or the job site activity. So this is something that has always been a surprise to me, because this is where we're tracking the effect of procurement, but it's not where we're tracking the actual procurement documentation. So for many years, many of our parties and contractors have been tracking submittals and RFIs and solutions such as Procure, which is our integration partner. So here you can see that these have different due dates associated with them. They have a submit by, they have an approve by, they have a required on-site date. And effectively, these are all backdated from the activity that is intended to use it, in order to get it enough time to prepare, enough time to review, and then enough time to prepare the material that is associated with that. So with Grit, we're combining this process. We're actually linking to this metadata of the submittal onto the actual activity in order to produce a much different way to track it. So these are what we call procurement lead lines, and for every one of these activities, we've assigned material that is associated with the submittal. So in Grit, submittal and material are almost identical. So we've assigned them there, and then underneath the library of that material, we have 3 different durations that are effectively replacing those activities that you would see on a Gantt schedule in those top 3 sections that we talked about earlier. Preparation, which is really your shakeout time once it's on site. How long do you have to prepare before you actually have to install it? Fabricate and deliver is fairly self-explanatory. And the review, how long does the review team have? So the first activity that uses a material will be shown here, and then those durations will be backtracked to get these other 3 dates. Now, if you choose to involve Grit in that process, every time you activate a schedule, we can actually write those dates to Procure. So you can still manage your submittals within Procure, but the dates that are managing what gets looked at when is actually being overwritten by a system, an activated schedule, rather than a manual data entry going in there by a project manager. Now, we know GCs want everything right now, but the truth of the matter is, if you can focus on the things that are timely, that maybe not the huge long lead items, but if you can really focus on what's going to happen on the job site and come forward, you can really focus on the procurement activities that make sense. So that does feed into our procurement page. This is an existing page, nothing too new here, but effectively this allows a contractor to track the procurement, not just get the impact of, not just see it on a drawing. So in the first column, it represents the submittal. Once I show it's approved, now we're not tracking the submittal, we're actually tracking the material. And that's why you see it's broken into 4 different areas. So this is an important differentiation for Grit. Most of the time when you see a submittal listed on a schedule, it is connected to all the activities that may use the material contained in that submittal. But once the submittal has been approved, largely we stop tracking the procurement of the material. So within Grit, if I were to assign a submittal or material to an individual or multiple different activities, even after it's approved, we're still going to track the material side of that so that you still have the timeliness of that, because a material that's included in a submittal could be used a dozen different times all throughout the project, and you still have to track the procurement of that material. Now, we're excited because we're expanding the procurement side to not only include labor, material, and equipment, but also information. And being able to bring in RFIs from Procore is something we're releasing this week. So while we don't have necessarily a fabrication and delivery required for every RFI, you may still need some time to react to the response, to be able to understand what to do based on the RFI response. But understanding how long is it going to take to review, how long do I need to leave in my schedule in order to prepare for that response, really allows us to have that same effect on the master schedule of seeing the time impact of information procurement. Really a lot of interesting things start to happen when you bring different data sources together and you start seeing the procurement being tracked in one place, the installation activities being tracked in another place. But with Grit, we're really able to start making those connections. And soon we will be able to release how we're tracking the production side of this. So importing an estimate and seeing the total quantity and then assigning those materials, labor, and equipment to the activities to get a better estimate of that usage and that budget over time, and then actually tracking actuals. So this is something, when we bring all these different areas together, no matter what configuration you use Grit in, the more you bring into the system, the more you get out. Because of the benefits of having this data talking to each other rather than having duplicate entry between different users or simply no communication at all. So once again, we'll be at Procore Groundbreak next week. I'd love it if you'd reach out to set up a chat, have a coffee or a drink if you'd like. Also reach out if you're not going to be in attendance. We would love to get your feedback as well. You can see my email address at the bottom, and look forward to talking more about the additional enhancements we're making to Grit. Thanks for your time. Talk to you soon.